Hi little skeletons, it's Disney Queen Skelly here, and I have been wanting to make this video for a very long time. Over time, I could never really find pretty much like the right time to do it. It's been something that I really wanted to discuss for a long time, and it just, like I said, there's never really been a right time. And just recently, I went through something that was a real eye opener, and I feel like now is the best time to talk about it. And like the title says, today we are discussing my mental health. I know a lot of YouTubers not claim mental health, but like a lot of them go through mental health problems. And I think the one reason that a lot of YouTubers go through stuff like that is because YouTube is like an outlet. It's like somewhere where you can fully express yourself to people without having to face them directly. And I think that's the easiest way to go about it. And not only that, and I'll get into this a little bit further into the video, like for me at least, when it comes to going through this day after day, YouTube is like the one place I feel like is an escape. It's the one place I feel like I can go and not be judged. You know what I mean? Especially since I am such a small channel, it's not that hard to just do something like this and not really, it's not like not feel the repercussions, but it's not like I'm flooded with comments. It's not like I'm, swimming in likes and dislikes and views. So it just seems a little bit of an easier thing to do. I just want to be fully out there that I have never seen a therapist before. And I do want to mention that outright. I have never seen a therapist. None of these things that I think are wrong with me are confirmed in terms of what I may have. It's just how I feel and when I talk to people who experience the same thing, and I know they've seen professionals, it seems to match up. But I'm not going to say I'm diagnosed because I'm not. It's just what I've experienced through life. And I do want to say that I don't know when you're seeing this, if you're seeing this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, who knows. If you're seeing this past Monday, I have already called my doctor's office to get a referral to go see a therapist because I feel like now is the time. And I finally want to talk about why. When I was younger, and I'm starting way back from start of high school, so buckle up. It's going to be a long journey. I don't have any tissues with me, so if I start to cry and my makeup starts to look like complete trash, I'm very sorry. It's still a hard subject for me to discuss, but I still want to talk about it. Back when I was 6 and I started first grade, there was this girl, and for every person that I name in this video, they are all going to have code names minus hubby, Harley baby, and Harley baby's hubby. So when I was 6 years old, I attended elementary school, like any other normal 6-year-old, I guess. And I met this girl, and we'll call her Scarlett. Scarlett was really my first friend in elementary school. She wasn't like my first friend, period. She was just my first friend in elementary school that I made outside of like my normal friend group, I'll say. She, at the time, like she and I were really close friends at the time. She and I were, I guess, best friends, I guess is what you could call it. Maybe when we were 10 years old, we started walking around our neighborhood because we lived so close to each other. Literally, like, my house was here, her house was here. It was that close. So we'd meet up, walk the trail that was near our house. We'd sometimes walk to the gym that my mom worked at, and we would work out at the gym for free. It was good times, we would just walk around, have fun. Nothing really seemed wrong until I turned 10 years old. Now, not that I like to say, but I say that I have been bullied and abused for 14 years of my life. But really, I think it all started when I was 10. But the only reason I say 14 is because I met her when I was 6. But she goes away a little bit later, and she's not the full reason that I was, hurt throughout my life. She's part of it, but she's not the whole thing. So around the age of 10, I had this phone, like a landline in my room that was an actual working phone. And it looked like almost like a rotary style, I think that's whatever they were called. It looked like that, but you didn't do the whole thing. It was type. Like you would like, there were like keys on there. But the phone looked like one of the rotary phones. She and I would talk on the phone every day, and we once broke our record. We talked for like 2 hours on the phone, but I don't think we realized the concept of phone bills at the time. But I mean, I don't know if it would cost us anything on a landline. I don't remember. Again, I was young. I never really had to worry about that stuff. So when we were on the phone once and we got in this fight, we would get in fights a lot. And it wasn't really something that I considered to be bad. I just figured friends fight. I fought with a lot of my friends. I lost friends. You know, it happens over a lifetime. And you know, I really only have one friend that I've kept since like kindergarten. Even then, she and I don't speak that much anymore. And I know it's my fault. That I will admit, it is my fault. But we were on the phone one day. I was on the phone one day with Scarlett. And she had told me that I need to fix my look. I need to straighten my hair better. I need to do my makeup get better. I need to wear nicer clothes. And at the time, it hurt. Looking back, I'm kind of thinking, why would a 10-year-old need to worry about that? But at the time, it stung because in my eyes, I thought I was ugly. So it was at that point that I tried to change my look. And it didn't stop at just the clothes and the makeup and the hair. You wouldn't think a 10-year-old would know what body dysmorphia is, and I really didn't know the name of it until someone helped me put a name to it. It was around that time that I felt like I looked like a sphere. Like I looked like a ball. No matter how much I walked, no matter what I did, I looked like a ball. And I took very drastic measures to try and fix that. And it got to the point where eating didn't sound like the best thing in the world to me. It just seemed like a gateway to, you know, being bigger. When I was 13, I was very unhealthily thin. I was getting ready to go into 8th grade. I was about that big around. I mean, it's what everyone says who knew me. I never saw it until just recently, when I was 13, and things weren't exactly looking great for me health-wise. I found The Nightmare Before Christmas. And I meant to make this a separate video, but I figured it really ties into what I wanted to talk about here. I found the movie Nightmare Before Christmas. My aunt tried to show me it when I was younger, but I was a little too afraid. So I watched it when I was older. And I ended up making a connection. I realized that with Jack trying to change his life and who he was hurting himself in the process. Mentally, he was hurting himself. He almost hurt himself. Well, he did hurt himself physically. He lost his jaw. He got bombed down from the sky. And then when he realized how good of a life he had, he changed. He realized that you just have to make the best of what you have. You can't do something like that hurts you to think, I don't really know how to put this into words, like you can't do something that you think is going to ultimately good for you, but in the process it's hurting you. He realized that the life he lived day in, day out was a great life. And though he hated the routine, he needed to find something that made things different. And I think that's what Sally was for him. He didn't realize how she felt about him. And I think once he realized that, he found his missing piece. He found what made him whole. He found what gave him purpose. It was to do it not only for his people of Halloween Town, but to do it for Sally. And ultimately, in the end, things got better. I took that lesson and I said, okay, it's been 3 years since I've gone down this road. I need to be better. I need to try and be better. So for about 2 years, I was okay. I slowly got myself back to the appetite that I once had, and I was healthy. You know, I was still small, but I was healthy. I was eating. I just did a lot of like PE, dancing, you know, throughout the week that kept me exercising. So that helped. It wasn't until I met a guy we'll call Henry. Henry was friends with the guy that I dated freshman year. I don't really have a code name for that guy, so we'll just call him, I guess we can call him Stan. I dated Stan my freshman year. Stan turned out to be gay. It's funny, my first, not real relation, well, actually, no, my first real relationship was with someone else. But he's not really important to this story. Stan and I dated about 5 months, and he told me he didn't tell me he was gay. It was something I just sort of figured out down the line, and I was really just a cover story, which sucked, but I mean, I guess I don't even want to say I met someone better. I just met someone through him. So I met Henry through Stan. And while I was dating Stan, I did cheat on him with Henry. And I felt bad. Now I feel bad. Back then I didn't care because, I don't know, I guess it was just the spur of the moment, the hormones, the everything really. After Stan and I broke up, Henry and I started dating. And we claimed at that point that we had been dating 9 months because that's how long he and I knew each other, and that's how long he and I really, I guess, fell for each other. He came to school with a bouquet of roses, gave them to me, and that's just when things kicked off. But until recently, I always told my mom that I lost my V card when I was 18. But that wasn't the case. When I was 16, I lost my V card. And it was to Henry. To this day, I regret it. Because what that relationship was anything but healthy. Henry and I dated for 2 years on and off. And I broke up with him officially basically before the summer of our junior year. And throughout that entire time, I really saw the man, or the man I guess he really was. When we broke up the first time, he had asked out a mutual friend of ours to homecoming, even though he told me specifically that he didn't want to go to any of the school dances. So I thought that was kind of funny, that he asked out someone to a school dance, even though he never wanted to go to one. I'm like, what the hell? Is it just me you didn't want to go with? Or, I don't know. That's just what it felt like. So the day of homecoming, he texts me, and he tells me, hey, I miss you. And I said, I miss you too. So we got back together. Was it the best idea? Probably not, because then things just got worse. Throughout the entire relationship, I noticed that he had a very close bond with 3 mutual friends of ours, who, come to later find out, he tried asking out all 3 of them after the last time we broke up. But it didn't stop there. I officially knew that things were going to be done by junior year. I felt nothing for him at that point, and he would use phrases that would really hurt me when we would finish doing the deed in bed. I would go to the edge of the bed to get dressed, and he would always compliment how nice my figure looked on particular days. And I noticed those particular days would be days where I'd forget to bring breakfast to school, or I'd eat a small lunch, or it'd be hours before dinner and I hadn't had a bite. My problem kicked up again, and I just refused to eat. I refused meals. I really would only eat at dinner, and that's only because I didn't want to scare my family. So I would just eat dinner and just do what I can just to satisfy my stomach, and that's it. When I turned 17 and I got rid of my ex, that's when things finally started to clear up for me, at least for the time being. I no longer thought, I still have body dysmorphia to this day, and I know back then I did too. I knew that it wasn't right of me to not eat. I knew it wasn't right of me to skip breakfast or to skip lunch or to just eat at dinner. I knew it wasn't right. So I slowly worked myself back into a normal routine of eating food and being healthy. So I did well. My first year was a little rough. I started out with small meals like scrambled eggs for breakfast, sometimes some fruit because that was always light and easy. Occasionally I'd have some toast. For lunch I'd usually make a light sandwich. I wouldn't really have anything heavy because it would make me feel sick. And eventually over time I gained my appetite back. So much so that that when I was 19 I started gaining weight. But we'll get to that in a minute. I'm going to go back again to middle school. I met this girl, and we'll call her Mara. Mara was the first girl I ever had a crush on. And at the time, I was a little confused until I learned about being bisexual. And it sucked because my first crush was on a Muslim girl. And her parents are very strict. Needless to say, I couldn't have her, but I still told her how I felt. And she said even though she couldn't be with me, she still wanted to be friends with me. So we were friends up until end of freshman year, and then she moved. And it broke my heart, but throughout that time, I had some girlfriends here and there. One of them left me after 6 months and said she wasn't ready for a relationship, and I was like, you're with me for 6 months, you're telling me you're not ready for a relationship. The second one OD'd on me. Well, not on me, but she OD'd. And her mother had told me. The third one and the final one broke up with me to date a guy. I guess shit just happens, right? After that, I learned I do like girls. I like being with girls. But I also like being with guys. So I discovered my sexuality at the age of 12. Crazy, right? So when I was 18 and I was applying to college, they do ask you, for some reason they ask your sexuality. I was asked my sexuality on the school website. And I think it's because either they want to be inclusive or I don't know. I really don't know why they asked. I frankly don't think it really matters. If it's there, it's there, I guess. So I had my dad with me because I needed help applying to college. And at this point, my mom and my Nana had already known about me being bisexual. Nana was, I don't want to say she was okay with it, but she almost kind of tried to brush it off. She knows, she just doesn't, I don't think she doesn't care to acknowledge it. I think it's a fact of like she knows I am, and that's it. She doesn't want to discuss it, which is fine. If she doesn't want to talk about it, I'm not going to bring it up to her. That's okay. I told my mom, and she said she was okay with it, that she accepted me, and it felt really nice. When I clicked on bisexual, my dad basically said I was confused. And it hurt. It hurt a lot. I felt like I couldn't really fully explain myself to him at that point, and it hurt. But to this day, we still haven't really talked about it. And I don't feel the need to talk about it with him. It's just now he knows. But I don't think he's fully accepted it. Which is fine, that's up to him. But at least he's not, coming at me with any negative thoughts or feelings or words towards it. But around that time as well, I met someone who we'll call Holt. Holt is where things really started to get bad for me. And this is where I may start choking up a bit, because this is what really cemented how messed up I am. There's one more thing that'll contribute to it, but this is one of the things that really cemented it down. I met Holt in one of my classes that I had with him. I talked to him, gave him my number. We just started talking from there. We went on a couple of dates, made things official. We dated for, I want to say close to 8 months, which was nice. I thought at the time he was a good guy, but really looking back on it, he wasn't. He would mentally and verbally abuse me in ways that I really wish I could forget. He'd yell at me for things that weren't my fault. He'd stand me up on dates without telling me anything. Being stood up means obviously no one's going to tell you that they're not going to be there. He would tell me that I'm eventually going to lose all my friends and he's all I'm going to have. He basically was telling me I was worthless without him. in a sense. And around this entire thing, he was cheating on me with multiple girls. And I knew a few of them. One of them I really hated. I won't name her, and I won't even give her a nickname. But I had the worst feeling about her. I knew she liked him, and she would blatantly flirt with him in front of me. He would make moves on her in front of me, and it would hurt a lot. But he would always deny it. I don't like her. I don't like her. But it was true that he did. It was very obvious that he did. And I had been told, basically someone close to me whom I trust greatly confirmed this for me. And for some reason it still stings to think about today. And I don't know why. And all these questions I have in my head are why I know I need help mentally. So I dated him for a total of 2 years, on and off. He and I broke up 3 times. First time was on him. He said he needed to work on himself. I said okay. Second time was also him. He said that he was having issues with someone and he couldn't be with me if he was having issues with this person, and by issues he meant, oh, I'm seeing this other girl, can't really see you while I'm seeing this other girl. Third time, I broke up with him. And it felt nice. It felt nice to finally say, fuck you. You ruined my life. You ruined me mentally. And I hope you're proud of it. I hope that you're proud of what you did to me, because I can't think of myself as a good person anymore because of what you did. I blocked him from my channel. I don't know if he's ever going to make a separate channel and try and watch me through it. But if he does, and if you are watching this, for some reason I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you because you made me realize what true evil is in this world. What true evil could be in this world. And you pointed me in the right direction to what I really deserved in life. And that's someone who really cares about me, someone who sees me as a person and not as an object, not as some side piece, someone who really sees me for who I am, and no matter what crap we go through, he's always by my side. And he's always there for me, no matter what. No matter what shit I put him through, he cares. And he's made that abundantly clear. My life was ruined. Through the years that I should have been having fun in college, meeting people, maybe even flirting around, it was ruined by one person. And I didn't even realize it until later down the line. I thought that he was as good as I was going to get. I know that's not true anymore. I have known it wasn't true for a long time. And he even had the audacity to email me last year, no, two years ago, saying that he's sorry for what he did, that he has a heart condition, that his mom died. I felt bad that his mom died, sure. No one should go through that, not even the most evil, vile people out there. No one should have to go through that. Heart condition, I don't even know if that's true or not. I don't know if he really does have a heart condition. I don't know if he really could die at any moment. And it sounds really fucked up to say, but I almost felt relieved when I read that. Because it meant maybe the end of one less problem I had to deal with. No matter how hard I tried to keep him away, he always found a way back. But I can say now, today, he is officially gone. He's been officially gone for a long time. And I don't want to say my life has been better for it, because there have been other factors in my life that have really didn't make my life that bad until I turned 19. And we'll call her Anne in this case. I met Anne May of our freshman year, and she and I were very close. We did a lot together. We started a YouTube channel together. You know who she is. We started a YouTube channel together. And for a while, she and I were inseparable. She and I were the Skelly and Harley baby of high school. And it wasn't until she moved in that things started to take a turn. She moved in not long after we started college, because her whole family was moving upstate, and she didn't want to move upstate. She had a boyfriend at the time. Well, she still has a boyfriend, but she had a different boyfriend at the time. She had a job, she had school, and she didn't want to give that up. So we let her live here. It was the biggest mistake I ever made. She would disrespect my parents. She wouldn't clean her room. She would hurt me, yell at me. Basically would say it was my fault for things that she did. She would ditch me to hang out with her boyfriends, and eventually I said goodbye. She moved out, and we tried to stay friends after she moved out, and it didn't work out. She would lie to me. She basically was, once I got rid of Holt, she was the thing that kept the abuse going. She always claimed that Harley Baby was her replacement. What does that say now? I guess it was true. She felt jealous. And I think that's why, one of the reasons she acted out, she was jealous. I mean, yeah, I can understand jealousy, but you need to trust the people that are closest to you, especially when they say that they want to do things with you. And I wanted to move in with her into our own apartment. I wanted her to be in my wedding. I wanted her to be with me throughout life. And she didn't trust me. She didn't trust my word. And after a while, I didn't trust hers either. She would ditch me to hang out with her boyfriends. Like I said, she would ditch me for other friends. She would lie to me about it last year, a little bit after the pandemic started. I told her, bye. I basically said I didn't say I was done, but I blocked her. No word. I just blocked her. Because I knew I couldn't handle it. I knew that she was the last thing I needed to get rid of in order to make my life better. And when I was finally starting to get back on track, the last nail in the coffin came to my house and lived with us for a year. I tried telling my parents how I felt about the whole situation. I tried so hard. I tried telling them everything that I heard, everything that I saw. I would ask them why they wouldn't handle things if what this person was doing was bothering them, and they just didn't want to create conflict. I mean, what do you do when someone does something that bothers you? Do you keep letting them do it, or do you tell them to stop? Do you tell people, what do you do when someone does something that isn't right, or does something without your permission that involves you directly? Do you tell them, do you not say anything? Or do you say something and tell them how you feel about it? I know after a while it just seems like you're nitpicking every little thing, but it isn't. You're expressing yourself. You're being honest. And if you're not being honest, then there's nothing there. And I couldn't say anything because this isn't my house. I'm just living here temporarily until I move out. And I couldn't say anything. I couldn't tell anybody in this house. I couldn't tell the person in this house how I felt. I couldn't tell this person that they were hurting my family. I couldn't, because it is not my place. And eventually this person left after a year. And you want to know the funny thing? Is that after a while it affected my physical health. There was one time I thought I was having a heart attack, but it was just a really bad anxiety attack. I told my mom, and I thought that would be it. I thought this was gonna be what drives her to get him out. And even that didn't do anything. She started lying to me. She started doing things that just weren't in her character. She would tell private things to my family members. She would give misinformation and twist facts around. And after a while, the only person I felt like I could trust was my dad. Because I remember going up to him one day and telling him, you need to put an end to this. And it's not that I like hearing these two words. It's that in this case, these two words were something I knew was already true. But everyone kept telling me that I needed to stop, that I needed to shut up, that there's nothing I say that can fix it. But I was told these two words, and the amount of respect that I had for my dad went through the roof. He tells me, you're right. And it was at that point I knew things would get better. And it did. He spoke with the person who was living with us. And after a while, my dad put his foot down. And so did my mom. They both did. And he was out. He was gone. But the damage was already done. Hubby and I got in so many fights last year that I thought he would leave. I had thoughts of suicide. I had thoughts of running away. I thought I was making good money through unemployment. I might as well just leave. Leave my world behind and find something new, because I felt like I didn't belong in this world. I felt like I didn't want to be here anymore. That time was just ticking away, that my days were just stretching together. And it hurt. Everything hurt. I could only find small joys in going out. And I thought it was because of COVID that I was like this. But it's sad to say at this point I'm used to it. I'm used to wearing a mask when I go out. I'm used to things not being open. And at this point it's almost like a countdown of when things will open up. Something that I'm used to now. And that's a sad thing to say. The reason why I feel like I need to get help, the reason why I made this video, is because of my career life. I don't know if I've spoken about this on the channel, but I tried writing articles for a couple of companies and it didn't work. So I found a job working retail at my local mall and I had a panic attack on day 2. Now I figured that it was probably because I wasn't used to working, and I figured it wasn't really my fault. It was just that I wasn't used to it. I wasn't used to going back out there and working and just, being a functioning normal human being. I wasn't used to it. So I took some time to think about what I really needed to do in life. I needed to find a job. I needed to do something to make consistent pay that wasn't because of the government. And I did. Through someone who I thought was going to be in my life consistently, and through stuff that I've seen, stuff that I've already previously experienced. I don't think that's the case. A former friend got me a job where she worked, and I was fine. I had one panic attack, but I came back the next day and I was fine. I'm filming this on March 7th, just a heads up. Just yesterday, March 6th, I had another panic attack, alone, in my little cubicle, and I regretted coming into work. I didn't want to come into work. Every day felt like a drag. Every day felt like I was just counting the minutes until I could go home. Counting the minutes until the next day happened. Counting the days until my next day off. I wasn't being. I was existing. I was on autopilot. And I told my boss that I couldn't work there because if I couldn't function normally, if I can't do my job and be a good provider for the company, I don't deserve to be there. And I told my mom, I called her, and I said, I can't work. And she asked me why, and I said, I think there's something wrong with me, and I need help. And I asked her if our insurance covers psychiatry. She said, yeah. Tomorrow, March 8th, I'm gonna be calling my doctor and trying to make an appointment to go see somebody. Because if it was just anxiety over working, I can get through that. I've jumped from career to career to career and making drastic changes in life, and I felt fine. It wasn't that big of a deal. So I'm wondering why this was so different, and I know now it's not the job. It's me. Something is wrong with me. And I want to know what it is. I get anxious easily. I want to do nothing more but lay in bed. I want nothing more than to just be lazy. My motivation's gone. I am not the person I once was. I am not the person who used to just be so happy all the time. Who used to go out and be. I was just watching one of Harley Baby's videos today about our last hurrah 2 years ago. And I was doing and saying things that I wouldn't even say or do now. I found it cringy that I was so happy. No one should have to say that. No one should have to think that. So why was I thinking that? Why was I feeling that way? I'm not right in the head, and I know it. I'm not the person I once was. and I hate it. I hate that I am the literal, not literal definition, but I feel like I'm getting towards that definition of a black soul. Someone who just doesn't care. Someone who just wants to go day in and day out doing what they need to do, going to sleep and getting up and doing it the next day all over again. I'll go to Disney with Harley Baby and hubby. I'll go to Universal Studios City Walk with hubby. I'll do all these things just to try and feel some remnants of joy. But after a while, it's like I feel exhausted. I feel so mentally and physically exhausted that I just want to sleep. That I just want to stay in bed. I don't want to do anything. I even had to push myself today to do makeup, get jewelry on, and shower and get dressed. It feels like every day is now just a huge struggle just to be motivated to do something. And I don't want to continue to feel that way anymore. I want to be who I used to be before everything went down the shitter. I want to be the person I know I can be. The person that hubby fell in love with when we were 19 years old. The person that Harley Baby met when I was 19 years old. I've matured. That's for sure. And Harley Baby's hubby said I've matured in a good way. That I'm more grounded. I'm not a stick in the mud. I'm just more grounded. And that's okay. But I also know when to have fun. I know what the difference is between needing to be mature in a moment and having fun. I can at least differentiate that, but I can't do it myself. I have days where I feel so happy. I feel like I'm in ecstasy. And I treasure those days a lot. More than I can express. But the feeling never lasts. I feel like it's this, I have this energy bar, right? Like in video games. When you're fighting somebody and your energy's at like 100%, but every time you get damage, it goes away little by little by little by little until you're left with nothing. And you need to re-energize yourself with either food, or sometimes your character even dies when their health runs out. In my case, it's a sense of I need to re-energize, recharge. But I feel like my charge takes days, weeks. Everyone's noticed that I've changed. My parents have noticed. Hubby's noticed. Harley Baby's noticed. People have noticed. And it's hard to say that you need help. Because the one time I tried crying out for help, my mom said it was because of COVID. I was crying so hard on the phone yesterday. I was shaking. My voice, I don't even know if my mom understood half the shit I said. But I think that's when it clicked for her that this is not COVID's fault. This is me. This is my fault. And it's something that I need to take care of. So at least my cry was finally heard. And all it took was one phone call. It wasn't her seeing my face. It wasn't her seeing me just break down and nearly fall on the floor. It was a phone call. Basically saying, I need help. It's amazing that that's what it took. I know this video was long, and I know it's so different than what I normally post on here. I just wanted to let you guys know that the face you see on here is not the same in real life. I put on a show for you guys, and it's the one place I feel like I can be happy, but it feels so fake. I'm not gonna stop filming. I'm not gonna stop recording, because this is one of my only avenues of escape. This is one of the only outlets I have where I can just be on here, express who I am in the littlest way that I can. It is fake. My whole demeanor is fake. But the person that you see on here, the one who brings you trivia videos, the one who brings you fun facts, reacting, reviewing, it's fake. But in a way, it's also real, if that makes any sense. It's me being me in the way that I used to be, but not the way that I am now. In a way, when I watch these videos, I get some sense of normalcy, trying to act the way that I want to be, even though once I turn the camera off and I get a headache or I get tired, I can at least say I was normal for maybe a few hours. It's a hard life for a 23-year-old to live through, and it's not one I ever thought I'd live through. It's not one I intentionally put myself through. It's just something that happened. I met the wrong people. But it led me to the best life that I have now. It led me to a wonderful husband. He's technically still my boyfriend, but it's still weird to say boyfriend. I'd rather just call him husband. I have a wonderful husband. I have the best girlfriend ever. I have the best big brother. I still don't get along well with my family, but I know over time that'll change. And I think it's going to change once I start getting the help. I'm saving up to move out next year. I'm saving up to have a kid. And I tell you guys more about that, I think sometime in June or late May. But I plan on having a kid in the next 2 years. And I'm excited. I'm really excited for my life ahead. Or at least I'm trying to be. I'm trying to see the better side of things, but it's so hard. And it's a daunting task. But sometimes it's all that gets me through the day. It's something that helps, knowing I have a secure future. I want to thank you guys for watching this. And I hope it doesn't make you see me differently in the videos to come that I have going through June right now. I wanted to make more videos today that I'm going to be posting for sometime in June or July. At this point, I don't know if I can. I will say it was a waste of putting on makeup if I don't make any more videos. Normally I put on makeup if I know I'm going to film in bulk. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for sticking through. If you watched this long, I appreciate it. It means a lot. At time of recording, well, you guys are seeing this pretty much in real time. I have 55 of you. And I love each and every one of you. And I am sorry if this makes you change your mind about me. And I wouldn't be surprised if after this I lose a couple of you guys. It really wouldn't surprise me. You probably want to watch somebody who isn't this type of person, who isn't a mess, who isn't just a screw up. I love all of you guys so much. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you guys for bearing with, for sticking through this, for sitting here for almost an hour. This channel will never die. So long as I am here, this channel will never die. And that is because I love this channel. I will do whatever I want with this channel, and I will love every minute of it, because this is one of my only escapes. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, little skeletons. Stay safe. Please stay safe. Take care of yourselves. You come first. Always know that. You come first in your life. I know you want to try and help other people first, but you come first in your life, nobody else. Take care of yourselves. Be safe, please. I know I say that at the end of every video, but I mean it. Be safe. Take care of yourselves. Physically, mentally. Take care of yourselves. I love you all so, so much. And I'll see you tomorrow.